Thanks, Maria. Hey, guys. What's touring looking like for us? Well, we can make it work. Well, we're gonna start soon. We're coming to St. Louis. We have a show at BB's in June, end of June. Tracy, it's not a brick wall. That's wood. Or I guess this is kind of white brick. Just looks like it in my webcam for some reason. Oh, that's... Advice on bending double stops and keeping it in tune with floating tram. I just realized you're playing the wrong guitar for the question. Yeah, this is strung with 15 gauge strings, so I'll probably break a finger trying to show. But it's not supposed to be in tune. If you have a floating tram, that everything's moving. It doesn't need to be so in tune too, unless you're doing some kind of Nashville-y chicken picking thing. Which, if that's where you're at in life, you need to ask yourself some more serious questions about your decisions. But yeah, play a hardtail. Come to Europe. But yeah, if you have any music questions, this is the time. I was watching some Oscar Peterson yesterday. They're playing. this one like I really like over like if you're playing in C and you go into like just a normal cadence G7 to C. Thanks, James. It's kind of like an altered sound, but it's he does like over the 5 chord. It's a nice sound, kind of alteredy. It's just kind of like a G7 sharp 9 flat 13 sound. Going from the flat 13 to the sharp 9 to the flat 9 to the flat 7 to that flat 13. But it works nice in the blues. Do I have an email, Andy? Oh, yeah, just marvinmusic@gmail.com. Advice for beginner improvisation. Do you mean like in general or playing in jazz? Beginner, just learn a blues scale and run with it and have fun. And yeah, it's all about just having fun. My dad's going to YouTube. YouTube is the place to watch us, by the way. We're trying to build it. So if you're on Facebook, it's there too. It's Marvin Music, or youtube.com/MarvinMusic. And subscribe and hit that bell button. So advice on improvising. Yeah, I mean, I would say put yourself in a situation where you are having to make phrases over more than one chord is the first advice. Even if it's just like a 1 chord and a 4 chord or something. So let's say you're in the key of G. Just a G7. So maybe instead of just playing over that, play over a 1 and a 4. So I'm just going from 1 chord for 1 measure to the 4 chord 1 measure. So G7 to C. And then maybe learn how to weave lines that go between those two sounds. So you can just arpeggiate like a G7, arpeggiate a C7, right? That's pretty basic. Now you can do things to like wrap some chromatic information around a note. Like here's a nice enclosure, chromatic enclosure. You can go, so to me, that's all just winding around that G note on the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 note enclosure. 2 from below, 2 from above, 1 from below. Right? You can do the same thing around the C. Right. So now you start getting that kind of... And you're making phrases that, are moving from... It's really to related harmony, but you're playing over 2 chords and really trying to get the sound of each one to connect to the previous one. And then after that, that will make you also aware of harmonic rhythm, meaning like playing on measure 1 in an 8 measure phrase is not the same as playing on measure 2. What you really want to be able to do is like think about it like just instead of that 4 chord is positioned in a weaker place in the harmony, and you could play through it with kind of ignoring it. How do you feel? I was tired yesterday from the vaccine, but today I'm fine. Want to learn how you stream so well? Well, I'm running everything through Pro Tools, through my nice plugins. It's going to be much better next week because I'm getting a new computer, and this one's a tad bit slow. And then I'm using a program called Loopback that basically makes Pro Tools communicate with Streamlabs, which is my streaming software. Land color to the structure. Well, yeah, I mean, the truth is there's no method. There's no one method. You got to do a little bit of everything and try a lot of things and get to a level of control with the tools to where it's kind of like talking, you don't, if we had a conversation and you told me something really insightful, and I was like, and I let 7 minutes pass, and I'm also live through YouTube right now, so if you go to youtube.com/MarvinMusic, that's a better place, and hit the subscribe button. I want to schedule lessons with you. Yeah, I teach lessons on Skype. What was it? Oh, yeah. So let's say we're having a conversation. You say something super insightful and 7 minutes pass. And I'm like, what did you say before? You will probably not be able to repeat the idea verbatim. If you were, then it wouldn't be an idea. It would be a quote. It could be your own quote, but it's a memorized piece of wisdom. And there's a real problem with building your vocabulary from quotes, which is, you're always going to be talking like a douche, and nobody's going to want to hang out with you because it's terrible. It's just, it's a terrible sensation to, have somebody throw up information that they read in the aim of being perceived as impressive. It's just not how cool people are. What's likely to happen is that if I was like, hey, what was that thing you said? You're going to think about it, recall, and then reconstruct the meaning from fresh words. And that's how jazz playing needs to work. But the problem is that there's no method to do it. You have to just be so familiar with all the stuff that makes up jazz. So what is that stuff? Arpeggios, chromatic approach notes, modes, the understanding of what to play over what, having great chops, great time, understanding jazz syncopation. It's all the culmination of all these elements. Hey Vigo, I don't. Oh, Tommy, yeah, I saw that movie, The Room. So that's the idea. So I don't know if we take a song like I don't know, something simple. The beginning of Autumn Leaves. What you really need to, there's so much that goes into it, it's just not clear where to begin. If you don't know anything, you just need to get some stuff under your fingers, play the chords, right? So, what you want to do, intro, body, lead, return to intro and out. what you want to do is start playing stuff that sounds like lines, but you want a specific kind of lines. You know, Bach plays lines, Beethoven plays lines, Louis Armstrong plays different kinds of lines, and Charlie Parker plays different kinds of lines. So you got to first of all get to a position where you can play any sort of lines through music that don't just sound like they don't work, right? Blues lines, for instance, just have a terrible sound over changes. I'm not talking about Oscar Peterson playing the blues. I'm talking about like, you know, like Kelly Ray Shepherd type player that, you know, has to play, you know, kind of over autumn leaves. It's just sad. So it just has this kind of over all that. And it's like the more they dig into it and do like stuff, the worse it gets, because the motion of the lines don't fit the style, right? That's the greatest shit in the world to play over blues, but when it's not blues, you know, what do you do? So, you know, lines have a lot of stepwise motion to sound like lines. So the problem is if you move too much in one direction, or if the contours get too obvious, then it doesn't sound like jazz. It sounds like classical music, right? Bach gets away with very straight lines. When I say contour, imagine that the line is dots written on a page, and you see them either descending or ascending, right? They're making like when you read a graph. So think about, Bach has a lot of V shapes, right? It's kind of like a big drop off, and then like a sharp rise, and a big drop, a slow drop off, and a sharp rise, like stuff like that. Sequences like that, or just simpler sequences, or there's some of that in jazz, but not a whole lot. Jazz moves in a, if you take a look at the motion of the lines, they're less straight and they're less repetitive. They're much more zigzagging. And it makes sense when you're looking at, you know, a piano, that classical music was written. You have 88 keys, all these octaves, and you have Charlie Parker who has 2.5 octaves. 2.5 octaves is, you know, like the range of an alto is from this D flat to approximately this, you know, E flat, so, or A flat. So everything lives here, right? And this area of the instrument, which is even smaller than the guitar. So, and he doesn't sound like he's running out of ideas. So you got to find ways of playing scales kind of in a tighter way, instead of kind of playing huge lines that take the whole range of the instrument. Even blues players play. If you try to sing, that's like the entire range of a man in one line. So the idea is to condense your melodic vocabulary to a smaller area and really find ways of making the harmony connect. So take, anything, right? Here's the changes for Autumn Leaves as a good example. So what's kind of the minimum you can do with an awareness of when the chords change to compensate for the change, to maybe land on an interesting place as soon as the chord changes. So here's a C minor. This is a 2-5. It starts at 2-5-1 in B flat, which is C minor 7, F7, B flat. Then it goes to E flat, 4 chord. Then the 7 chord in the key, A half diminished, and then what we call the 5 of 6, which is D7, G minor. But if I just talk about the first 3 chords, the 2-5-1. I'm just improvising something, right? But that that was just kind of a scale motion up from C, Dorian, arpeggio down, and then as soon as F changed, as the chord changed to F, I landed on that flat 9, the flat 2 on the F7. Now, when I'm playing, I'm not thinking about that. Those sounds are built into my physical vocabulary, but that's a sort of idea, right? That's something that if 5 minutes later you ask me what I did there, elements of that line will probably stick in my mind. I could play something that's approximately that line, but I couldn't play that line. So here we get into that idea world again versus lick world, because this to me is a similar idea. Or so the idea really is to land on that F7 on the flat 9. That gives it a sort of really recognizable sound. And I can have a lot of vocabulary that approximately gets that point across. But that requires a level of familiarity and control with modes and with seeing the intervals that and really recognizing the sounds that a beginner player is not likely to have. So, but ideas don't have to be an interval on a specific change. They could be a rhythm. It could be like maybe going more triplety on a chord, and then it gets that idea across. It just creates something recognizable. But that's already layer 2. Layer 1 is just being able to move lines that sound like lines on the music. It's really how to play boring jazz. These sounds are built into your asshole, you fucking genius. First of all, you should consider poetry, Jason. I love the way you express yourself. But so the question is, right? That's a sort of idea, right? But when you talk about it, like what makes it itself, and what can you extrapolate? That's always kind of the interesting question. Is it a rhythm thing? Like if you played the opposite contour with the same rhythm, would it still be enough of the same to be called it wouldn't be the same, it would be similar, right? Right, or now, another thing that's really important is understanding that you could start a line on any note in any context on any chord, as long as you know what to do with it. Panamasa poetry. Yeah, it's the best. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to play just a 2-5-1 and B flat, right? And on the C minor, I'm going to start on the root. Okay, now I'm going to start on the flat 2, same place, right? Right, it doesn't sound, starting on the flat 2 doesn't sound terribly wrong if you... Here's the 2. Here's the flat 3. Here's the major 3 on the minor 3rd, right? Here's the 4. Here's the sharp 4, flat 5. 5. Here's the flat 6. Here's the 6. Here's the flat 7. Here's the major 7. And that works on any, if you know how to maneuver, you can start an end, you can start even an end phrases on any notes, right? Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you. Scales being driving force for clarity. Yeah, you know, if you imagine the fretboard as, you know, just kind of a unlit area, and you just don't see anything, you can't play anything. Once you know modes, the best way to think about a fretboard is a series of lights, 7 out of the 12 notes in each octave, lighting up. Well, in most cases, diminished scales are 8 notes. Whole tone scales and augmented scales are 6 notes. But you want to see them lit up and leaving those other notes unlit. But inside those lit notes, you want to see them lit in 2 colors. You want to see the notes of the arpeggio in, let's say, red, and the notes of the tensions is blue. And maybe all the notes that are not a part of your tonality is unlit. And those sets of lit dots change in time as the chords change. With every chord, it changes, meaning if I'm going from a C Dorian to an F7 to a B flat major 7 to an E flat major 7, the 4 of these sounds are all in the same tonality in a way. They're all the B flat major scale. But even though those are lit, the inner dots change, right? The chord tones change. So you might as well practice them separately. I'm not going to. That's in the Miles Davis biography, Ron. You can just, yeah, it's a chronicled part of history. You don't need me to do it. After that, it's just a matter of being rhythmic is the biggest thing after you have the notes down. But you don't want to skip that notes part, because I always say, like, rhythm's the most important part. But it's like, if you don't know where to fucking push, you're done. No problem, James. I'll check it out. So. Right. Passing tones are just those unlit tones that are in between chord tones and tensions, right? So you have a passing tone, and it's only if you use them to connect those 2 points of a tonality, right? So let's say I'm playing Dorian. I have 5 opportunities to play passing tones. I have the flat 2, that's outside my tonality. So the flat 2 connects the root and the 2. Right? And in a line, you can play a passing tone descending, ascending, or ascending and descending, or descending and ascending. Right? So. there's nothing between the 2 and the flat 3, and then there's one between the flat 3 and the 4. There's one between the 4 and the 5, right? But that's, I'm still moving between two parts that are in the tonality to make that a passing tone. And then there's one between the flat 7 and the root, right? Which is here. And between the 5 and the 6. And all of them together, a lot of trumpet players play lines that have a lot of passing notes, like right. That was connecting the 4 to the 5, flat 3 to the 4, root to the 2, flat 7 to the root, 6 to the 5, whatever. So. Now, if you practice the same thing in Mixolydian, meaning it's still the key of B flat, but now everything's relative to an F, it sounds different, and you need to visualize it different, or you're not going to know how to move that information and play it on a dominant chord, even though it's pressing the same places. When you shift your points of reference, you need to shift your thinking. So between the root and the 2 is no longer here, it's here, right? You also have to resolve the line for it to make sense. Yeah, you know, yes and no. I mean, when you hear a lot of the guys play, if you resolve to upbeats, if you don't do the blues thing and just play like a go for like big ones like that and conclude, then you create this ongoing forward momentum of phrasing, which is more conversational. When you're talking, it's not like you reach a grand conclusion every time you need to start a new sentence, right, or a new paragraph. You do wrap up what you're saying, but you always leave yourself rope to kind of, have the conversation flow. And that's what you want to be doing. That's a great thing to do, phrasing-wise. And that's a rhythmic thing, not a melodic thing. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, they tell you play some altered stuff and then make a big resolution, right? Like... That's a great sounding line, but if you play a lot of lines like that, everything in your solo sounds sectioned off like that, and that's just not the way people really play. It's the way people teach on YouTube, because it's easy to understand, it sounds good. And the real problem with jazz vocabulary is that if you take a look at the resolution of lines that are actually useful to study and work out, they don't sound too good on their own. They just sound like fragments that like are super unexciting, you know what I mean? It's like you have like this, butterfly you're looking at, and it's beautiful, and you're just like, here's a wing. It's like, ooh, that's it went from beautiful to fucking dead and gross, So it's the irony of learning this shit. Would you ever meet and jam with Tomo Fujita on his YouTube channel? Sure, why not? But anyways, But yeah, let's I guess what's good to talk about, like a blues or something. harmony only sounds good in Never Never Land. I can't run a rhythm track because of the way I'm running my setup. Stimpy intro. I don't know. Talk about your guitar. This is a D'Angelico. NYS 3, 2, something like that. I never remember. Never Neverland, like Peter Pan. Yeah. Negative harmony sounds like dog shit. is what I'm trying to say. It's just, it's a stupid idea with a beautiful explanation. You know, there's a lot of smart, dumb people in the world who propagate, you know, it's, yeah, I'm not going to get political, but I think it's the communist plot to destroy harmony. Thanks, Deacon. I've studied it. Substitutions beyond. Yeah, beyond what works. Yeah, I don't know. They lose me whenever they say, it's like, you know, when you go up the circle of fifth, fourth, up the circle of fifth sounds brighter. And then when it goes down, it sounds darker. And then you're just supposed to go, oh yeah, I hear it. I don't hear it. What? Whoa. So bright. You know, I don't know. That, anytime somebody asks you if you hear it and then gestures with his face, that's a dead giveaway. That's a lot of power of suggestion. Do you hear it? Happy? Happy sound? Sad sound? I love you, deep lessons. is sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing, wondering why it's me who's wronging. Why haven't you seen me? I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, how you'd turn away romance. Are you pretending it feels like the ending? Unless I could get one more chance to prove to you my life a wreck you're making. You see me here ripe for the taking. I'll surrender completely. I'm all for you, body and soul. Sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing, wondering why it's me who's wronging. I swear that I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, how you'd turn away romance. Are you pretending it feels like the ending? Unless I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a wreck you're making. You see me here ripe for the taking. I'll surrender completely. I'm all for you, body and soul. Michael, I know what it is, and I've seen it. I remember the first time when Steve Coleman was trying to push that idea in the '90s. It sounded like poop then. Then a lot of people forgot about it. Then what's his name? Jacob Collier came, made a lot of poopy music using that idea. Played really out things. And yeah, it's just, I just don't like it. You know, again, it's a system, but it's a system for what? This is the thing. For a jazz improviser, music theory is ways of creating consonant sounds on chord changes. If your system produces, new harmonies then every register, there are different notes that sound good because you're not kind of limited to one octave in your harmonic structures. Then it might be a great tool for somebody who makes those kind of those kinds of songs. But for me, the songs I'm curious about and always was curious about are people, in fusion and jazz. And the study is a study of the tools that work inside that context, not just of tools. So if you want to make music like Jacob Collier, sure. Backyard tours, when are they starting again? I don't know. We're gonna try to do some Marvin stuff real soon. We're going in April to a few like hippie festivals because those guys don't give a fuck, and some clubs in Indiana, and we'll see how that feels. We're hoping to just start touring with Marvin, honestly. Oh, I know you can handle the truth, Michael. I wouldn't tell you the truth if you couldn't handle the truth. You all can handle the truth. But yeah, I mean, there are many. You have 12 notes. You have really an infinite ways of organizing them and naming the structures. The question is, why do we do it at all, right? Why do we have major triads and 7 chords, and why do we have harmonic function? And this obsession with innovating the tools is only good when it yields really great music and really great systems of creating music. And I don't know, when I listen to a Jacob Collier album, that's no part of me wants to be that, and or thinks that has a place in my music. So I've checked it out. It's just not for me. Certain amount of dissonance. It's not a whole tone, half tone scale dissonance. Yeah, I mean, again, you get all these polychords, and the question is, if it's not something that you can play modes over that sound good in every octave, it's not a great tool for me, because that's not what my music is, or the jazz music I like is. It's not how it's put together. Right? Thanks so much, Webjern. I'm going to learn stuff. Oh, yeah. it means to miss New Orleans. I miss it each night and day. I know I'm not wrong. The feeling's getting stronger the longer I stay away. Miss the moss-colored vines, the tall sugar pines, where hummingbirds used to sing. And I'd like to hear the lazy Mississippi a-hurrying into spring. That was good times. That's a great album. Bebop. There's a lot to say about bebop. It's NYS2, serial number 00107-310. I'm not sure. It's not old, but it's a nice guitar. So yeah, if you have a specific question about bebop, other than what I think about it, I love it. I love bebop. A lot of what Marvin is influenced by is bebop. You know, two people playing unison lines, shredding, with a rhythm section that doesn't get in their way too much. That's the greatest idea. and gentle the way she should. I got it bad, and that ain't good. My old heart is sentimental, not made of wood. I got it bad, and that ain't good. But when the weekend's over and Monday's on my mind, I end up where I start out, crying my heart out. Doesn't love me like I love her, nobody could. I got it bad, and that ain't good. Treats me sweet and gentle the way she should. I got it bad, and that ain't good. My old heart is sentimental, made of wood. I got it bad, and that ain't good. But when the weekend's over and Monday's on my mind, I end up where I start out, crying my heart out. Doesn't love me like I love her, nobody should. I got it bad, and that ain't good. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yeah, COVID made everybody go crazy at home and learn silly shit on YouTube instead of listening to the greats who are a click away. You know, it's I say this often, but there's a big difference between going to a fine restaurant and having your friend go to a fine restaurant, eat the food, and throw it up in your mouth. It's the same food pretty much, but one of those things is disgusting. So, yeah, do not. I mean, I'm shitting on myself too here, but if you want to learn some Oscar Peterson, you should listen to Oscar Peterson, figure it out. You know, Sinatra, listen to Sinatra. Nobody will help you. There's the middlemen. It's all scam. They're all just charlatans, and the amount of free time and phones and all the shit that we have, combined with the fact that the people who are good at video editing climb to the top, open the door for a bunch of fucking charlatans to just rob you of your precious practice time. It's all just a big scam. You're participating in it, you know. If you want to be good, listen to the greats, aim high, practice a lot, figure the things out, and don't just be thirsting about how everybody else is making a methodology out of listening to it. At the end of the day, it's just figuring out what 10 guys did. Talk to all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, for you, for you, for you. I know for certain the one I love, all through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner on the corner, don't go nowhere, why do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home around 8, it's me and the radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Talk to all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, for you, for you. I know for certain the one I love, all through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Jack Horner on the corner, don't go nowhere, why do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, it's me and the radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Though your heart is breaking, smile even though it's aching. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your tears and sorrow. Smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Though your heart is breaking, smile even though it's aching. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your tears and sorrow. Smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile.